Welcome to our Women's Holster Clinic. I'm Nick and this is Crystal and we're with Safety Reloaded. We want to give you a brief overview of holster options out there. So Crystal, when you first started getting started with concealed carry, what was something that you had struggles with?
When I first started, I was completely overwhelmed. There are so many options, not only for the firearms themselves, but for the holsters. And trying to figure out the best way for me to carry, what's going to work best for me, was just a lot to think about.
So when you walked into a gun store for the first time, was it an overwhelming experience?
Yes. Yes, it was. Very much.
So what was it that was so difficult about that first holster purchase?
I wasn't really sure if it would work for me. I knew what I had been told by the salesperson. I knew what they had in stock. I did not know how it would feel. I did not know if it would be a good long-term solution, and I did not know what else is out there.
So we talk about women's holsters. What's an issue that you all face that might be different for men?
That is a great question. What I've seen a lot for myself and for women in my classes is carrying a firearm is just a very different experience for women than it is for men. We have a different body shape, and most products are made without women in mind.
So you've got a few different holsters here. Why don't you start walking me through some of the first options you had when you began?
Sure. The first option that most people will come across is something like this. This is an outside the waistband holster, meaning that when I put it on my waistband, usually attached to a belt, it will sit outside my pants. Kind of just like that, but under my shirt.
So is that a good first starting place for some people?
For some people, yes. For a lot of women, unfortunately not. These holsters tend to be a little more comfortable, yeah, but a little harder to conceal. And especially when people first start concealing, I don't know about everyone else, but I was very paranoid of, oh my gosh, you can see the firearm, you can see everything, which is not always true, but with a holster like this, it is more frequent.
So what would be a more concealable option?
So instead of an outside the waistband holster, you might look at an inside the waistband holster. So the difference here is instead of sitting outside of your pants, this one would still hook onto my belt with these loops. However, it would sit, the purple part that you see would sit inside my jeans instead of outside. That is a little less comfortable, but the trade-off is it is far more concealable.
So do you need to wear a belt with all inside the waistband holsters?
Most of them, yes. There are a few options where you wouldn't need a belt, but we will cover those in a future video.
Great. What are the other options that you have here? What would be the next step you might have someone suggested?
Yeah, so for women especially, we have some different wardrobe choices, some different occasions, some different challenges. And so I did bring a couple of options just to show what else is out there. There are pros and cons to everything, but I wanted to just give a taste of what's possible. So the first thing I have is this. This is basically a pair of compression shorts with a built-in holster inside the thigh here. This is really wonderful, for example, dresses and skirts, where you're obviously not going to be wearing a belt, but still want to carry a firearm for self-defense. Something like this would be a good option.
So what's a drawback for some people that might choose this option for concealed carry?
Well, as you can probably see, the holster being right here, the size of the firearm you can carry is very limited with something like this.
And this would not be something you would wear with just regular jeans then?
Correct. Yeah, this would be something, typically for most women, this is more of like a special occasion, dressing up kind of thing. Yeah.
So what's the other option that you have here?
The other option I brought today is a bag. So especially when we first start carrying, women, we get marketed to for concealed carry purses and bags of all kinds. There are benefits and drawbacks, just like anything else. Today I have a fanny pack. And anytime you do consider carrying off your body, you want to get a bag that's specifically made to do that. Any of those bags is typically going to have a special compartment that is going to be made to hold the firearm. away from everything else that you're carrying. You can see this one has a good solid holster within the back pocket, again, specifically designed to carry the firearm.
So when considering off-body carry, what might be a drawback of that versus some of the other options you have here?
One of the biggest challenges is just the level of responsibility that's required. I mean, carrying a firearm, period, requires a lot of responsibility. Carrying one in a bag off your body requires more. It requires a level of awareness of where that bag is at all times, who is around that bag, and how can they access your firearm.
So is there a drawback with speed for this holster versus the other options?
Sometimes, yes. Depending on how the bag is designed, it might be more difficult to reach the firearm, but with adequate practice, with, say, a blue gun, a plastic gun, or an empty firearm, always empty, you can practice and increase your speed with those.
So when we talk about the holster options for women, if someone's still overwhelmed or not sure what the next steps would be for picking what they would carry, what's something you would suggest?
I would suggest contacting us at Safety Reloaded. We have a specific class to help you choose a holster. We offer private lessons for anyone that wants that hands-on help to help them figure out what's going to work best for them. And what I like about either of those options is you don't get that opportunity anywhere else. You asked me at the beginning, if I walk into a gun store, how do I feel? If I'm new at this, it's overwhelming. And you don't get the opportunity to actually try the holsters. Whereas with us, you do. We have a variety of holsters that you can try on, see how comfortable they are for you, see if they're going to work with your wardrobe. It's an experience that you can't really get anywhere else.
That's great. So when you think about this, do you expect everyone to have just that one holster the first time they pick it?
Oh, no. Anyone that I know that carries a firearm for self-defense every day, they have a box of old holsters that they've gone through that just didn't quite work for them for one reason or another. So yeah, typically it's not a one and done. It's a live and learn kind of thing.
When picking your first holster, should it be comfortable?
Yes. However, there's a saying that really helped me when I started. It's carrying a firearm is meant to be comforting, not comfortable. So one of the things that a lot of people learn pretty early on is don't expect it to be perfectly comfortable. It's not like buying a fluffy new jacket, putting it on and going, this is great. It's more of an adjustment.
So you have to make your body fit the holster or the holster fit your body?
Kind of an in-between. It might take a while to find the best holster for you, but once you do, there is still going to be an adjustment period.
Fantastic. Crystal, I really appreciate your time with this. If you've got any more questions or you want to find out more about the holsters and our classes, comment below and tell us what you want to see in our next video.